right. Well, one person had this question, at least asked it. I'm betting several of you have it. And the question is, what do we do in these problems where we get to like the last of the practice 1.2, where they want you to use a graphing utility to graph a function, and let's say you don't have a graphing calculator, or maybe you have it, but you never really learned the graphing functions on it anyway, or to create a table, and they give you some information here. So I want to go over how we do that, okay? So first of all, we look at this cost function c of x up here. The tool I'm going to use is something called Wolfram Alpha. So I'm going to go to Wolfram Alpha here. And so you see the address is wolframalpha.com. I'm going to click on that. All right. And what Wolfram Alpha is, it's a search engine is basically what it is, but they call themselves a computational knowledge engine. Really what you can do is you can enter some mathematical expressions. You can get the graphs and some information about them. So I'm going to enter this cost function, c of x equals, and then I'm going to go back to the homework to see what the heck that was, 150 plus x over 10. And I'm going to just put parentheses around this x over 10 just to make sure I don't inadvertently do something wrong here, because I'm just typing. So I want the computer to understand x over 10 is its own little world there. As is 36,000 over x. I would discourage using the comma. I don't know how well it plays with the comma. Okay, so this is this function. Let's kick the equal sign, see how it graphs it. It's going to do almost a good enough job here, but I'm going to show you something to make it even better. Okay, so it shows some information about it, and here, sure enough, is two versions of the graph of this function. And I will suggest to you in this particular context, neither of them are great. They're not bad. The problem with them is that we are talking about a cost function for items. And x is a number of items. It's going to be 0 or 1 or 2 or 3. It's not going to be negative, right? We're not going to, or it's not number of items here. It's a Boeing 747 crossing the Atlantic. Okay? Number of cost per passenger is given by where x is the ground speed. Okay? So the ground speed, they aren't going to have negative ground speed. Okay? So they just aren't. So we want to eliminate negatives from this, okay? So what I'm going to do is simply, I'm just going to put the word on, and I'm going to draw the interval 0 to 2,000, okay? I'm going to hit equals, going to compute again. What that's going to do is that's going to limit us to this interval of positive values. And so we can see this function, and we can even see this minimum value wherever it is. We can't get an exact value, but that's how we're going to use the table for. Okay? So, or we could, I bet, put that into the search. Yeah, minimized at x equals 600. The minimum value is 270. And sure enough, they show it right on the graph there, right? Well, then you're asked to do it using a tabling procedure. How do we do that? Well, we use Excel. In case you don't have Excel at home, what I'm going to do is see if I can get this on Google Documents. So I'm going to go to let's go google.com, and I'm going to go with more. And Google Documents is a service. You notice my name's on here, so I am logged in. Okay, but there's a place where you can go and get essentially a cloud area to store documents and some applications you can use on them, home and office. So among them, I'm going to use, let's see, the let's see, Stan Taylor is talking next door, so all of a sudden I am off here. Okay, well, I'm going to look at this. I'm going to go back here. I'm just going to say Google Docs. My is a there, docs.google.com is going to take me to that. I'm again logged in. If you don't, it's a free membership. You can get in there. And anyway, what I want to do is create a document that is a spreadsheet. Okay, so spreadsheet, and in the first spreadsheet, first enter, I'm going to enter 0. So we want the 0 to be the first value of x. So column A is going to be where I put my values of x. And what this table start business tells you, and table start, etc., oopsie, is, let's see, here we go. It tells you where you start at x equals 0, and this delta table tells you how much they want to change the values of x for every row in the table. So I'm going to start with, here we go, 0. I'm going to go 50. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to type an equal sign. It should behave like this. And I'm going to click in this upper cell, A2 plus 50. And then I'm going to copy that formula I just did. And I am going to see if it will let me just paste it all the way down to about 40. It may want me to shift and do this. Okay, so I hit the shift button and go all the way up. And then I am going to paste. Oh, good. It did it. So basically what it did by pasting that way is it pasted this formula so you didn't have to type in 100, 150, and so on. You copy the cell which has a formula in it, which has an equal sign in front. You say A2 plus 50. This one will then be A3 plus 50, and so on. We're going to do the same thing. 0, I can tell you, is going to cause a problem. Well, let's try it anyway, okay? So I'm going to put the formula in here. But I'm just going to put the right-hand side. So I'm going to start with 150 plus. Next thing it calls for is x over 10, except for in the place of x, I'm going to click on cell A1 over 10. Plus, the next thing it calls for is 36,000 over x. So I'm going to go 36,000 over, and I'm going to again click on A1. Come on, come on. I'm just going to say A1. Huh. Okay. And because I can only get away with just typing it. It's not going to like this. Division by 0, it says. But let's just copy that cell. And I'm going to paste it in the next row. Next row, it has no problem. The problem is that third fraction, if we have x equals 0, then right at 0, right at 0, you've got a problem with this fraction right over here, right? But let's go on, continue with the spreadsheet. So I'm going to copy this formula. And by copying this formula, holding down here, holding the shift key, and dragging all the way down to the bottom of this table, and then I'm going to type paste, or I'm going to paste. And it's going to paste the formula into each of these cells rather than just pasting a single number, right? So now it's got this formula pasted in. These are the values of c of x, okay? And we notice that these are going down, 350, 319, keep going down until it gets to this point, and then they start creeping back up again. Whereas that point is at x equals 600. And that's how we can tell from the table that we've got the minimum value. So that is what we do instead of tables, is just use the spreadsheet in Google Docs to create this table. Hopefully you may have to watch this video a couple times to get how to do that. But hopefully that's a good enough explanation how to get that table in Google Docs and get those answers there. The other item here is using to get graphs. We can go to Wolfram Alpha. Sometimes to get a graph kind of zeroed in where we like it, we have to tell it what interval to graph on. I am hoping that helps the person who asked this and everybody on dealing with these problems that refer to the graphing calculator. Wolfram Alpha and a Google Docs spreadsheet or Excel.